This just happened in real life, and I got not even a chuckle. True story. The wife and I were walking in Target this evening. We were walking in the clothing section, behind an employee who was moving a mannequin. Out of nowhere the whole arm pops off, and the poor woman can't bend to pick it up because, no, she's holding the rest of the mannequin. So I walk up, grab the limb while she's looking around for another employee to help, hold it out to her and say, "Here, let me give you a hand." She took it. No laughter. My wife? Nothing. So I am posting here in the hopes that my genius will be appreciated. Keep getting those dad jokes in the wild, folks. How does a hippie polygamist count his wives? 1 Mrs. Hippie, 2 million rupees hippie, 3 million rupees hippie. The joke that made all of my coworkers groan. I work in long-term healthcare, and every year, we fill out a sheet that details what is important to and important for every person that we support, just to help keep things in perspective. During our meeting, my supervisor said, "Okay, that's the important to. Let's move on to important 4. I raised my hand and said, "Wait. You skipped important 3. Please promise to never stop telling that joke." My great-grandmother lay dying in the hospital. I was born after she died. And no one knew if she was dead or just asleep, so someone said, "Feel her feet." No one ever died with warm feet. My great-grandmother opened her eyes and said, "Joan of Arc did." And those were her last words. She died a few minutes later. That's a true story. Respect to your great-grandma. That was a dope-ass joke to bow out on. This is ridiculous. We're 364 days away from Christmas. And people already have their lights up on their house. I feel like this subreddit is dead. There hasn't been a post here all year. I can use this joke in 14 hours 15 minutes cool. My brother loved dad jokes. He passed away 2 months ago, and I love seeing these dad jokes. He was the king of dad jokes in our family. So I just wanted to thank you guys for this Reddit. My wife slipped on black ice and landed on her tailbone. True. She came inside with bloody hands and said, "Can you check and see? I think I broke my tailbone." I'll take a look. With my 8-year-old son and 5-year-old daughter beside me, I drop her sweats down and say, "Oh, sweetie, it's broken." My kids looked at me because they don't see it, and she says, "It is?" "Yeah, look, there's a big crack in it." Quote. We still laugh at this 20 years later. Chiropractor later confirms it with a X-ray years later that it was broken. Eyelashes are supposed to prevent things from going into your eyes, but whenever I have something in my eye, it's always an eyelash. Click to see spoiler. Have you heard that joke about subreddit admins? Removed. I was about to be upset that I was too late to see the joke. Then I realized I was just too late to get the joke ROFL. Well done. I wish I could have read it before it was removed. If Jesus was real, they wouldn't call it the crucifixion. They would call it crucifact. Nailed it. Yesterday, I ate a clock. It was very time-consuming. Especially when I went back for seconds. An America couple was being shown around Moscow one day, when the man felt a drop hit his nose. "I think it's raining," he said to his wife. "No, that felt more like snow to me," she replied. "No, I'm sure it was just rain," he said. Well, as these things go, they were about to have a major argument about whether it was raining or snowing. "Let's not fight about it," the man said. "Let's ask our guide, Rudolph, whether it's officially raining or snowing." Quote. As their tour guide approached, the man said, "Tell us, Comrade Rudolph, is it officially raining or snowing?" "It's raining, of course," he replied officiously. But the woman insisted, "I know that it felt like snow." Quote. The man quietly replied, "Rudolph, the red, knows rain, dear." My eyes rolled further than the stones. I used to date an air stewardess from Helsinki. I dropped her off at work one day, and she just vanished into Finnair. She probably wanted to date a guy from her own country though, because nice Finnish guys last. C, E flat, and G walk into a bar. Click to see spoiler. Did you hear that the inventor of autocorrect died? The funnel will be held tomato. My condoms to his family. What's the difference between Jesus and a picture of Jesus? Only takes one nail to hang the picture. I avoid this type of joke because it makes Christians very cross. There's a 3-letter word for 24 hours, but I can't remember it. I'm tired. I think I'll call it a day. My son asked me to name 2 structures that hold water. I was like, well damn. What's the most expensive haircut you can get? Click to see NSFW spoiler. I have cancer and lost all my hair but got it back finally, and I can confirm very expensive. When I was bald, a fat-faced from steroids, some nice young lady who I assumed didn't know I had cancer, told me I really pull off the bald head quite well. I think about that a lot and how she probably did know I had cancer and was trying to make me feel better, which it did. Someone told my mom how much they loved her hair. How they wished they had hair like hers and how people would pay to have hair like that, etc. She gladly took off the wig and tossed it to her and said, "You can!" Scared the ever-loving shit out of that poor woman. She apologized profusely and wouldn't let us leave the restaurant without paying for our lunch. Mom just wanted a laugh out of it. Tears of joy, tears of joy. My grandmother was 80% Irish. Her name was Iris. As we were eating our breakfast this morning, my son asked me, "Why does a fork have 4 prongs?" Chuckling, I responded, "Well, you see. ... If it had less, it would be called a threek. In Greco-Roman days, they used to have either 2 or 3. But the times, they are a-changing. Edit. Ah, thank you, everyone. I had a small surgery today, so walking up to this response is just smiling face with hearts, smiling face with hearts, smiling face with hearts. My mom has forbidden me from making any more breakfast puns. Click to see spoiler. Omelette it slide this time.